Hello everyone, this is Narco. Today I would like to present a short tutorial on Resolve and Decadence in Against the Storm. These two mechanics can be a bit confusing, and they certainly were for me at first, so I launched a training expedition and now I'm going to explain them step by step. So first things first, we will open these three very important panels. Here you can see all the needs of your species as well as the favoring button, which is essential. You should keep these panels open at all times, as they are too important to remain hidden. In fact, you can go to the Options menu, then to Gameplay, and find the Option Species panel open by default. Please check this box, it should always be enabled. Okay, now let's get started. As you can see, the three species don't start with the same resolve. Foxes begin with 5 points of resolve, while beavers and frogs start with 10. Lizards and harpies also start with 5, and humans start with 15. Now let's look at what is called the reputation threshold. This is the value at which your species start to become happy. When they reach this level, the resolve value turns blue, and it begins to increase your reputation, represented by the blue bar at the bottom of the screen. For now, as you can see, we gain nothing because our three species don't have enough resolve. Here you can see that the beavers have a reputation threshold of 30, which is the same for humans. For the foxes it's 15, the same for lizards and harpies, and for frogs it's 25. Before explaining how to increase resolve, let's briefly discuss the effect of hostility on resolve. Let's place some beavers in the woodcutter's camp. As you may know, each woodcutter increases hostility. When you reach level 1 of hostility, the resolve of almost every species in the game decreases by 2 points. It's 2 points for each level of hostility, so if we reach level 2, you will lose 4 points. The foxes are the only species not affected by this, they are immune to hostility. It gets even worse during the storm because looming darkness activates, causing an additional decrease of 4 points of resolve for every level of hostility, and this time it also affects foxes. So if you want to increase your resolve, you can reduce your hostility, for example by removing some woodcutters. Just like this. Next, let's see what can increase your resolve. First, let's look at the comfort bonus. In the rain collector, the comfort bonus is, of course, rainwater. The species that benefits from this is the frogs, so you should place frogs in the rain collector. As you can see, they shine slightly because they are happy to be there. And look at this, the frog's resolve increases. So you should always try to put workers where they are comfortable. Now let's try to reach the reputation threshold with the foxes. For this we need to reach 15 points of resolve. First, let's try to satisfy their basic housing needs by building some shelters. Okay, one shelter is done, and there are 3 foxes inside. This means there are still 2 homeless foxes, which is why the resolve bonus from housing is only +2 for now, allowing them to reach 7. Okay, now that the other shelter is finished, every fox has a roof, and their resolve bonus has increased to +3, allowing them to reach 8. In order to continue increasing this value, let's check the hearth level. You can raise your hearth level to gain 1 more point of resolve per level, along with other bonuses. To reach level 1, we need 8 people in shelters or houses and 4 comfort decorations. So let's build a park. See, it has 4 little squares here, so it counts as 4 decorations. So here we go. The house is now level 1. So every species gains a +1 to their resolve. And you can see this bonus here in green. And now, in order to gain more resolve, we will use the favoring button for the foxes. When you use this button on one species, it gains 5 points of resolve, but the two other species will each lose 5 points in return. Now our foxes have 14 points of resolve, so we are not gaining any reputation yet. To get that last point, let's check a production building, specifically the field kitchen. So let's assign 2 foxes to work there. They will produce skewers, because as you can see in the panel, foxes love skewers. But before that, let's take a look at the rain perk engines. On the left you can increase production speed and yield, which we will boost to produce faster. And on the right you can use some rainwater to increase the resolve of the workers inside the building. There, my foxes gain 2 more points of resolve, reaching 16, above the reputation threshold, and that's why the number is blue. So now foxes are above their threshold and are in what I call the blue zone. And so they make me gain plus 0.07 reputation per minute. It's not much, but that's a start. Oh, and look at this, my fox's resolve just increased by 2 points, even though I didn't do anything. What happened here? Well, look at this. My workers are shining, which means they are happy to be there. And this is because the comfort bonus for foxes comes from the presence of blight rot in the building they work in. And sure enough, thanks to my rainwater usage in the field kitchen, there is no assist on the roof. And that's why these 2 workers are so happy. Now let's boost this engine to the max and aim for 20 resolve. Okay, so now we are gaining plus 0.08 reputation per minute because the fox's resolve is higher than before. Oh, and what just happened here? We just lost 1 point. Why? Let's take a look. Okay, so it's rationing. We have produced some skewers, but we have forbidden them from eating the skewers, so now they are unhappy. So, in order to understand, let's check the consumption panel. Yeah, indeed they cannot eat skewers, which is why they have a -1 to their resolve. Should we let them? Well, no, not for now, let's wait. For now we will try to gain 1 full point of reputation thanks to the fox's resolve. It's going to take a while, but don't worry, I have programmed very long drizzle and clearance periods, so we should be able to get that point before the storm. To understand why we have 19 resolve, we can easily calculate it here. The foxes start with a base of 5 points of resolve, plus 3 from housing, -1 due to rationing, and plus 12 from various bonuses. So here's the breakdown. We have +1 from the house level, plus 5 from favoring, plus 4 from the rainwater engine in the field kitchen, it's lost rain, and plus 2 from the blight rot in the field kitchen, which makes the foxes feel comfortable. Now we have reached 0.99 reputation, so I will ask you to keep an eye on the fox's resolve as we gain that final point. There it is, we have gained the full reputation point, but now the foxes aren't happy anymore. This is called decadence. The reputation threshold has increased from 15 to 20. Actually, each time you gain a full reputation point through your species resolve, the threshold will increase, making it harder to keep them pleased. And as a result, we are no longer gaining reputation. So how can we raise the fox's resolve again? Well, we could give them some skewers, right? So let's do that. Let's enable the conception. And there we go, the fox's resolve has reached 25 points thanks to the skewers and the end of rationing, so we are now gaining plus 0.10 reputation per minute. So the more you please a species, the harder it becomes to satisfy them. To keep the foxes happy, you will need to meet their increasing demands, such as providing fox houses, porridge, picked goods, boots, or even services like religion and tea. Note that only the fox's reputation threshold increased, not the beavers or frogs, because they didn't give me a full reputation point. Only the foxes did, so only their reputation threshold increased. So that's how Resolve and Decadence work in this game. Of course, there are other factors affecting Resolve, like perks and cornerstones. And also, if you have lizards, you can even assign one as a firekeeper in order to give a +1 resolve to everyone. Another aspect I wanted to discuss is how to reduce hostility in order to increase your resolve. Of course, you can remove some woodcutters, like we did before, but you can also sacrifice some coal or wood. So let's sacrifice some wood. Yeah, as you can see, we reached level 0. We were level 1 just before. However, be very careful, as this will deplete your wood and coal reserves very quickly. So let's give it a try. Look how fast it depletes. You can even sacrifice more to decrease hostility further, but that will accelerate the depletion, of course. Oh, and one last thing, the more villagers you have in the blue zone, the more reputation you will gain. So let's welcome 2 more foxes. For now, the resolve has decreased because these new arrivals haven't eaten skewers yet. Okay, now that they have, we are gaining plus 0.13 reputation per minute, just because we have 2 more happy villagers than before. I can explain why the resolve is now only 23 instead of 25, but it's a bit more subtle. Look at this, before the engines of the field kitchen provided plus 4 points, now it's only plus 3, and the blight rot offered plus 2 points, but now it's down to plus 1. This is because these 2 bonuses only affect the foxes in the field kitchen. When I had 5 foxes, these 2 workers represented almost half of my fox population, so the bonuses were significant. Now that I have 7 foxes, those 2 workers represent less than a third of my population, which is why the bonuses are lower, since they only apply to them. But note that I'm still gaining more reputation than before because I have more happy foxes. The number of villagers is essential for increasing reputation. Well, that's all for now. I hope this tutorial will be helpful. I will be back very soon with a new game. This time it will be a year 4 win at Prestige 20 with harpies, beavers and frogs. So thank you all and see you next time.